Okay, so we have a lot of DC news to get to. Some good, some drama, and some indifferent. But anyway, so let's start with the good. Now, it's been rumored for a while that Jason Momoa has been cast as Lobo. Well, according to Variety, not only has he been cast as Lobo, but he's either going to star as the character in Superman Legacy, or he's going to be cast as in his own, or he's going to be starring in his own standalone film. And this, of course, would take place after the latest Aquaman movie. So that would be done. Now, I've mentioned earlier that Jason Momoa said that he will always be Aquaman. That's not going to change. So either he's lying or he's lying. Now, as I've mentioned before, maybe he just doesn't want to spoil us by saying that that Aquaman's going to be recast with a different actor while he plays Lobo, or it's just that he's telling the truth and Aquaman is just not going to be a thing anymore. Or he was not told that Aquaman's going to be recast. I guess that's a possibility too, but from what I'm reading, it sounds like James Gunn isn't that kind of a guy. But anyway, that is all I have on that news. And then, speaking of Jason Momoa, let's get to the drama. And the drama is courtesy of Amber Heard, because of course it is. So, Aquaman 2, new report alleges misconduct from Jason Momoa clashes with Amber Heard. Alright, so let's get to the article. A new report from Variety details alleged behind-the-scenes drama that occurred during Aquaman and Lost Kingdom's production. Documents from Aquaman star Amber Heard's high-profile court case with ex-husband Johnny Depp have appeared on Reddit. Which, how the holy hell did it end up on Reddit? The documents include notes from Heard's therapist, which allege that the set of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was a hostile environment for Heard to work. I'm gonna guess because people have figured out at this point that she's a crap human being. Maybe? I don't know. Or just the fact that this was coinciding with the trial where they were learning she was a crap human being. One of the two. That is in part because Jason Momoa, who stars as DC's aquatic hero Aquaman, would show up intoxicated, late, and dressed as Depp. Okay, well, I'm sure that he seems like the kind of guy who would needle Amber Heard. I have no doubt about that. But let's continue. Because I really don't believe a word this woman says. This is the same woman who made a bruise under her eye so she would show evidence that Johnny Depp was beating her. So, and she was dumb enough to put this on social media so people would realize that she's just, making shit up. Let's see. Further, the note suggests Mamoa sought to have Heard removed from the film as Aquaman's fellow hero and love interest Mira, which again, he probably realized she was a crap human being and didn't want to work with her. So, I do not for 1 minute doubt that he probably wanted her gone. Jason said he wanted me fired. Jason, drunk, late on set. Dressing like Johnny, has all the rings too, the notes read. While Momoa's representation declined to speak to Variety for their piece, a DC spokesperson spoke to Momoa's professionalism, saying Jason Momoa conducted himself in a professional manner at all times on the set of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Another insider rebuffed the idea that Momoa showed up drunk to set and suggested that Momoa did not dress as Depp, but simply had a similar sense of style. Jason works his ass off, likes to have a beer once in a while like everyone, but doesn't show up drunk to set, they said. And he isn't dressing like Johnny Depp. He has always dressed in that bohemian style. Which, regardless, I have no doubt that he was needling Amber Heard. I would have no doubt in my mind he was needling her. He saw through her facade, whether it was after things came to light, like the fact that she created a bruise out of makeup so she could claim that Johnny did that to her, or whether it was something else. But I have no doubt he was needling her. He does strike me as the kind of guy who would be obnoxious like that. So, but I can't speak to him being drunk on set. It's possible he pretended to be drunk to her. Because again, he strikes me as the kind of guy who can be obnoxious like that. The report also states that Warner Brothers had wanted to fire Heard from the Aquaman sequel even before Depp filed his lawsuit because of her lack of chemistry with Mamoa. Now, if he already had an inkling that she was crap, whether it be, again, because he already saw the evidence of her trying to manipulate the jury into thinking that she was a victim of domestic abuse, or if there was something else. But if you already think someone is crap, of course you're not going to have chemistry with them. How could you? Alright. Others dispute that narrative, alleging that the studio, and specifically director James Wan, were unsupportive toward Heard because of how her court case hampered their ability to promote the film. Which I'm going to say that those are Amber Heard fans that, decided that her shit doesn't stink, and everything that happens to her, anything bad that happens to her, is the fault of other people and not her. So, the report suggests Warner Brothers only kept Heard on because her ex-boyfriend, Elon Musk, oh my God, that just says so much more about her than I ever thought. As if I couldn't think less of her. Jesus. At least he's an ex-boyfriend. That's an improvement, but oy, oy, oy. Sent a scorched earth letter to Warner Brothers threatening to burn the house down if they went ahead with Heard's termination. Musk did not respond to Variety's request for comment on the matter. Now, I can totally believe that Elon Musk would do that. I have no problem whatsoever believing that. But at the same time, why would he do that? I mean, I assume they weren't dating at the time anymore. Yes, I know he's married. That does not preclude shit. However, I guess, they're still amicable. That just because he's an ex doesn't mean they hate each other's guts. But, again, that does not say anything good for Amber. I know I'm practicing guilt by association, but Jesus Christ. It's Elon. So, but yeah, I also, based on what little I know of him, I can totally believe he would do something like that. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is this, okay, I think this is just general stuff. All right. Let me just see if there's anything else from this article. Anyway, so that is it for that. So let us move to the indifferent article. Now, for those of you who hate David Zaslav with a fiery passion and think that he should be shot into the sun, I have potential good news for you. Warner Brothers expected to be sold to new owner, possibly Universal, according to new report. So, let's see. There are rumblings that Warner Brothers Pictures could potentially be sold, with Universal Pictures the leading candidate to make the purchase. Warner Brothers Pictures is currently a part of Warner Brothers Discovery, which has Discovery and the Max streaming service under its control. So, Discovery bought Warner Brothers, so it became Warner Brothers Discovery. So, I guess then Discovery would be out of luck? I don't know. DC Studios is also part of Warner Brothers, and its focus of a new feature that delves into some behind... what the hell? Okay, inside the Variety article is a reference to those on the Warner Brothers lot who believe the studio will be sold within the next 2 years, with Universal the most likely candidate. The bottom line is that they need to get DC to work, whether Zaslav owns it, whether Brian Roberts owns it, whether somebody else owns it, said Lightshed's Rich Greenfield, a Wall Street analyst and venture capitalist. The article also discusses how there is confusion regarding who is really calling the shots for DC Studios. For example, Kevin Feige is the mastermind behind Marvel Studios and its creative output, whether that's a feature film in theaters or a series on Disney+. Unless Bob Iger decides to say, I don't like TV. Meanwhile, James Gunn and Peter Safran on the co-CEOs of DC Studios, but Max also has a hand in creative as well. However, a Max source did state that the collaboration between Gunn, Safran, and Max executives Sarah Aubrey and Casey Bloy have been seamless so far. So, I take it... Now, my understanding is Universal does have its own streaming service. So I wonder if that means that all of DC stuff is going to then move to the Universal streaming service, as opposed to being on HBO. And I don't know what else would be moving, but interesting stuff. Warner Brothers seems to be a hot potato. This is starting to move almost as much as my Ivy Funds investments keep hopping around from broker to broker. It seems like it seems like you just get used to one owner, and then suddenly, oh yeah, we're selling again. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what becomes of that. As long as they put out quality content, I really do not care who owns Warner Brothers. I just want good content coming out of it instead of just crapping out movies just to say they put out a movie. So as long as it's quality, I really don't care at this point. Let me see if there's anything. Nope, that is the end of that article. So with that, I believe I've covered all the DC news that there is to cover. And I will see you guys in the next video.